Certainly, Sears Holding wasn't the only one with good news. We had some that have beat the expectations, and some stores like the Buckle that continue to show positive same-store sales growth.
Yeah, each situation is very specific. Sears, in fact, may be short covering today in terms of how the stock is reacting, but it's a mixture of good and bad news for sure.
Yeah, I think more to the bad. Yeah. Some just general feeling. But we wanted to try to figure out how things were doing on this side of the border as well. So we're joined now for a closer look at the retail sector by Rick Pennycooke. He is president of the Lakeshore Cook. Thanks so much for coming in.
Great to be here as always.
Well, we do want to hear what's happening in Canada, but I'd like to get your reaction to the U.S. news that we've seen out today. You know, just a sense of what the numbers today are telling you about how grim it is south of the border.
Well, it's clearly very grim. I think, you know, people in my industry have been watching this for a while and waiting for the Christmas season and seeing what was going to happen, and it's very bad, and the Walmart numbers are really disconcerting as well. Everybody thought that Walmart was pretty much bulletproof, and that's where everybody would be running to in these times, and I think that happened, but even you know, they were being hit. Walmart does sell staples, which is a really good defensive position to be in, but they also sell flat screen TVs that you don't need to buy every week and a number of other things. So they're taking it on the chin a little bit as well.
And we're just talking about, I mean, there are some good pieces of news out there. Where are the good pieces? That's how it's not universally bad.
Well, it's not universally bad yet, and I think that's the problem. People are on this side of the border are sort of hanging on to see is Canada going to get swept up into this wave that's already been rolling across the U.S. And one of the other difficulties for the retailers, you know, in the past they'd be able to say, well, we had a bad Christmas season, we'll make it up, we'll get some really hot merchandise in for spring, and we'll be, you know, we'll recover. And that doesn't seem to be a sure thing this year because everybody really doesn't know where the economy is going to go. And you know, a month and a half ago, people were saying we'll turn around in the second quarter of 2009, and now you're hearing all of 2009 is going to be in the dumper. So it's very, very tough times for retailers.
Well, now, as a consultant, you're talking to retailers in Canada, you're out in the stores. Yeah. What's your sense of how the holiday has been? And one of the reasons I ask is because I'm hearing anecdotally that people are not finding the kinds of bargains out there post-holidays that they expected. I mean, you know, yes, there's the odd 50% off sale, but the whole store isn't on sale.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I've observed that quite as well. I mean, I think it's because of the tightrope walk that the retailers are having to engage in. They need to slash prices to get people in, but they can't slash them so much that it hurts their profit margin. And this is the dance. And as I said, looking forward, you know, they can't afford to take a bath this quarter and feel that they're going to be able to make it up in the next two coming, because things don't look so great down the road. And so, you know, I just saw, you know, a bit of a slide in terms of prices being reduced just before Christmas, rather than this deep cut that a lot of people were expecting to happen. I just didn't see it out there.
And one of the ways we're talking about, you know, profitability, because in the end that's what it's all about for these retailers. So they're managing their inventory in some way. They're not slashing across the board. But the other side is going to be on the number of stores they have. We've seen Fairweather's closing at Eaton Center. I saw Macy, you know, a couple of the U.S. saying we're closing 11 stores. We're closing 12 stores. And that runs right into real estate. And so that's going to be an interesting dichotomy as the year unfolds, isn't it?
It really is. And that's, you know, the world that I live in. It's not just the retail operations, but the real estate side of it. And that's what's really scary. And the interesting thing about the Fairweather announcement is, you know, closing the flagship store in the downtown Toronto Eaton Centre that has traffic no matter what. Yeah. And an average of $1,100 a square foot in sales. And so things must be pretty bleak if that's the store you're going to close out of all of your...
Now, is that a cost thing for them in terms of the cost of that, notwithstanding it's their flagship store?
And I know Fairweather has struggled as a chain.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, what I think, and I hope this doesn't happen, but I think that's what's going to happen, is that we're going to see leases come up for renewal that are just not renewed in the next year. And that's what we're going to see. That will be a retailer's opportunity to get out with their shirt at a number of locations without having to pay the landlord. But the real estate play is very, very interesting, because what does the real estate landlord do with this space? There aren't a number of retailers that are going to want to backstop the space automatically.
For that store, I understand maybe Bed Bath & Beyond, not Bed Bath & Beyond, but Body Works might be coming in there, so we may see some U.S. retailers come up here.
Yeah, for the Eaton Center, I don't see so much of a problem, but you're going to see in the suburban locations, or the areas that are just not as prominent as the Eaton Center. This is where the difficulty is going to be. I mean, I'm going to be at the ICSC conference in the next few days in Vancouver, which is the International Council of Shopping Centers, and that has the retailers and the retail landlords there, and it's going to be very interesting to have lunch and sit down with these people to see how they're feeling about what they're going to do, particularly if they have a development that has a number of leases coming due this year.
Just before we let you go, who do you think is best positioned? Do you think somebody like a Shoppers Drug Mart or a Canadian Tire are playing this as smartly as they can?
Yeah, I mean, they are, they're positioned well. Obviously, they've been in that business for a long time and didn't know that this was coming down the economic pipeline. But definitely Staples, I mean, that's no surprise to anybody, are going to do well. But again, even somebody like Loblaw sells staples, but has a tremendous amount of discretionary goods that take up a good portion of their store, and that's going to be problematic.
Okay, well, we'd love to hear from you once you get back from that conference.
I'll be here.
Everybody has to say.
I'll be here.
Good to talk to you today. Thanks so much.
Great for having me. Thanks.
We've been talking with Rick Pennycooke. He is president of the Lakeshore Group. Well, actually, Shoppers is one of the stocks that our next guest likes. We'll find out when we take you to InvestStop. We'll be right back.
As a trader, my major concerns are cost, access to product, and the stability of my broker. Interactive Brokers is my choice because of its superior price execution, ultra-low commissions, global direct market access, and financial strength. If you are an individual or institutional trader with the same concerns, visit interactivebrokers.com to learn more. Interactive Brokers, stocks, options, futures, forex, bonds, worldwide from one account.
Come on already, let's go!
You don't